Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Thrively series. This is our 9th segment in the Thrively series, and we're going to be talking about increasing equity with authentic peer-to-peer collaboration. This is part 1. We'll have the follow-up part 2 next month. So let me welcome Jane Patterson from Thrively. Jane, welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
excited to see you today.
Well, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me again. And I'm looking forward to this conversation today. All right, shall I start?
Yes, please.
All right, let's do it. So my name is Jane. I'm with Thrively, and as those of you who've been here before, you know that we believe that every child has a genius and deserves to thrive. So that's who we are. I'm excited to share with you some resources in the platform, and I always start this day by with an inclusion strategy. And this one in particular just resonates throughout this year, this really interesting year that you've all had, where you've jumped out of the airplane, but you're together, you're holding hands, you're supporting one another. So the way this strategy works, it's called I'm In. We're going to say how we're feeling today, and we're going to affirm that we're here in body, mind, and spirit, that we've shown up for ourselves and we've shown up for one another. And we'll say that we're in. So the way this strategy works for us as adult learners and for your learners in your classroom is that we can start with the inner circle and we work our way out. And you can, you don't have to stick to any one color. So I can, I'll start, I'll share and show you how this works. So I am feeling happy today. I am also, so I'm in the yellow. I'm also excited. And I also feel, I guess I'm feeling I'm feeling energetic today. I think I'm getting that energy from all of you and thinking about you and how much effort you've put into this year, and you're getting ready to go launch your summer. I hope you get lots of rest, but it's exciting for you to have finished this year. So I'm feeling energized and I am in. So if you are in the room, you can go ahead and share how you're feeling, put that in the chat. And I'll share with you a little bit in just a few minutes where this resource lives in Thrively and how you can add it to project and get your students talking to one another about how they're feeling. So we'll come back to this, we'll revisit it, but just a couple of things for you to think about. When you have your learners in a group, say in person, right, in a group of say 4 or 5, this is a wonderful strategy. Put them in a group, say we're starting with the person whose birthday is closest to today, they're going forward or backwards, and we'll go in round robin fashion, but everyone go ahead and say how you're feeling, start in the inner circle, work your way out, and then affirm that you're here by saying, I'm in. Such a great way to bring your learners together, let them know that it's important to listen to their peers, and let them know it's okay, you know, we're not always feeling happy, and that's okay. So our young people get to know a little bit more about one another. They're building their academic vocabulary with this, and they're learning how to collaborate, how to set the stage for meaningful collaboration, right? Because we'll be talking about that today, and but priming the pump for that, setting the stage for it, laying the groundwork, however you want to phrase it. This is such an important way to do that each day, because we're going to be asking a lot of our young people as they collaborate in Thrively. And to lay the groundwork for equity, we need to understand how each person is feeling. All right. So our outcomes for today are, of course, we're going to learn how to launch Thrively projects in your classroom. We are going to collaborate using the Zoom chat today. So for those folks of you who are in the room, please continue to use the chat to let us know how you're feeling, what you're thinking. And we will also learn why we're here today is to learn how to increase peer-to-peer collaboration by utilizing primarily the projects interface in Thrively. So we'll look closely at that today. And we will, once we're in that projects interface, we'll look at how to add artifacts to our portfolio. So we want to increase peer collaboration, increase equity, but then use that for an outcome for each individual learner to really show off who they are in the Thrively digital portfolio. And then of course, you'll learn how to access Thrively support. I know our CTA members are using Thrively across the state. I want to make sure that if you need anything from us, you know how to reach us 24/7. All right, so let's take a look at projects in Thrively. Then I'll take you into the platform. But first, let's get a quick overview from my colleague, Patrick.
Hey guys, Patrick here. Thank you for joining us for a brief tour of Thrively's powerful project-based learning resource. We've listened to classroom teachers and have created and curated the projects you've been seeking. From creating a comic book to being a change maker, you'll find a collection of projects across curricular areas and interests ready to use out of the box. Just choose one and click Start Project to begin. Each step is completely customizable. You also have the option of creating your own projects from scratch. If you've been thinking about implementing project-based learning in your classroom but don't know where to start, Thrively will take you through each step. Wherever you are in the process of employing projects in your classroom, we have the perfect scaffolding for you. Thrively's collaboration feed makes it simple to organize teams and follow up on individual and team progress. Your students post videos, images, audio recordings, links, and text as they navigate through each phase of the project, making discoveries, defining key concepts, developing and critically analyzing innovative solutions, products, and ideas. And all of the artifacts are collected in one location. Let's take a look at a project in Thrively. The Be a Changemaker project has been designed to help students identify, plan, and execute a personal service learning project. With the Changemaker project, students connect to their passion, build valuable life and career skills, and create powerful impact in their schools, community, and world. When students use Thrively, they discover their strengths, hone their habits of mind, and apply their particular intelligences to tackling challenges. There's no better place to let this flourish than in a Thrively project. It's easy to get going, so let's get started. Assign a Thrively project or create your own project today. Empower your students with the skills they need to be successful in the 21st century, and transform learning into an experience driven by creative thinking, ignited by passion.
So in Thrively, we will take a look at projects in a minute, but we know that our young people are 30 times more engaged when they believe that their teachers know their strengths and are working to help them develop them further. So we know that also in a classroom, there are a lot of influences. There's the teacher and then there are our peers. So we always start with the premise that every single learner comes to the environment with strengths already. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in the platform. And it's such a great way to understand our students and then to put them in heterogeneous groups, or it could be homogeneous if you're doing particular projects just driven by a particular passion that your students have. I'll share with you what that looks like and how to find that those strengths in the platform. But we'll take a look at that in a moment, but we always at Thrively, of course, start with strengths. Now, as a software platform in education, we are passionate about empowering agentive learners who know their strengths, build their passion, discover their purpose, develop skills, and ultimately become those empowered, ready for life, fully agentive young people. So why project-based learning? So we're talking today about increasing equity through peer-to-peer collaboration. And there is really no better way to do that than engaging young learners in work that's meaningful for them. So an authentic problem with authentic solutions that young people are working out together is a great way to bring folks into the room, into the learning environment. So let's take a look at this video just to give us a foundation for project-based learning outside of Thrively, but the rationale for project-based learning in our schools.
Boys and girls, what is inside of this bag? Air. You are going to see convection at its best.
Now that we are a STEAM school, using project-based learning as our primary instructional strategy, we see our students exceeding at the highest levels. They're interested in what's happening in the world. They're interested in their own learning and how they're going to apply that.
So here at Charles Drew Charter School, we are a STEAM school with an emphasis on science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. Our kids not only get the regular curriculum, but they also have classes like science lab with me, robotics, engineering, art, chorus, band.
This is called a
flute. I'm taking dance and orchestra right now.
I like technology too.
I like science, and I like to learn about how things work.
Well, for us, project-based learning and STEAM can't really be separated.
Instead of teaching these skills and these disciplines in isolation, we collaborate and work together. Our students are making connections between these disciplines.
We know that the careers that are going to be available are in STEAM fields. We use project-based learning to help our students to be successful in those careers.
Project-based learning is not just creating a project. It is not teaching theme units. It's solving a problem. The project is a product that students create in order to solve a problem. It's a project that needs to have an audience and needs to have a lasting impact.
So across the entire building, teams collaborate to plan project-based learning instruction.
So ideally, what we're going to do is look at these essential elements.
We focus on one project-based learning unit that integrates all of the subject areas each quarter. The teachers work together to look at their standards, look at what's relevant for our students, what's happening in the world, and design a driving question.
I like it a lot because there's like one question, one big picture. I like big pictures, but I also like that you can like ask little questions within the big question.
A big standard in 3rd grade is teaching about heat. We wanted to see if students could figure out a problem within their community that they could solve using heat. We immediately thought of a snowpocalypse. Heat played an important role, whether it was related to the weather or how Atlantans coped.
There was just coldness and snow and ice, and so heat plays a really good part to keep us warm.
We eventually arrived at the question of how can we better prepare for Atlanta's changing weather.
We went in this direction because we knew that it affected a lot of their families, it affected our school.
My students researched the event. I brought in some community members to just share their stories.
We had so many people stranded. We had students who were on the bus 10, 11 o'clock at night. And we was trying to contact parents just to let them know where their child was.
They couldn't believe some of the stuff they heard. And that, to me, was this very organic way that they arrived at this problem and this feeling of, I want to do something about it.
We are going to be thinking of some ways to help Atlantans better prepare for weather like this.
The teachers may have designed a project that's going to guide the students in a direction, but the students have a big role helping to design products that will solve those problems.
My class came up with some type of safety case that would help them if they were stranded. So they'll do certain little mini projects along the way, like a solar oven. We're gonna talk about insulation. They'll test different materials to see what are good conductors of heat and to see how could these everyday materials fit into your kit.
Wooden spoon, plastic spoon, metal spoon.
Does it feel cold? Does it feel hot?
Feel it.
Record your observations. What about the metal spoon, Destiny?
The metal spoon got hotter.
So that was the hot is?
Yes.
All right, so right
One
now.
of the questions that they said that they needed to know was, well, how is heat produced? Mr. Thomas came up with the idea to bring the entire 3rd grade out.
Heat energy can be transferred in how many ways? 3, conduction, radiation, and convection. The heat from the sun will transfer energy to the air inside this bag. Once the molecules in the air inside the bag get warmed up, the solar bag is going to rise into the air.
Our commitment to STEAM has shaped how we do project-based learning here at Drew. Technology, science, engineering, that all factors into what we're looking for the students to be able to do when they're answering this driving question.
We see our students collaborating naturally to solve problems, not just the ones presented to them by teachers, but the ones that they just face every day.
All right, so thank you so much for taking the time to look at that video with me for just a minute. I find it really inspiring, and what I think Thrively can do that is going to make that kind of a project even more powerful is to provide a platform for students to actually start recording their findings. You're going to see how that works in just a minute, but you saw all of those folks, the students writing on, on paper, what happens to that paper after the project is completed, who knows? But with Thrively, they can conduct all of those experiments. They can video record, they can anything. They can take photographs of their findings, and they can upload those into the platform. I'm going to show you how in just a minute. So take that amazing work from those Atlanta educators, and let's make it even better, amplify it by making sure that our young people have a space to put all of their artifacts and thinking and to share their thinking. So we saw a lot of individual work after the project and reflection. Now I'm going to show you how we can reflect as a team, and doing that reflection as a team increases equity for all kids, our students with learning differences, our students who are emerging bilinguals. They have that opportunity to share and explore in a really safe place in the platform. So we'll take a look. We're going to look at a few different projects today. We'll look at the health benefits of gaming. I can't wait to show you that one, and Fight Song. And the other is an empowered learner. I just want to bring your attention to it. This is not a collaborative project, but it's a special education project that I think really also increases equity. And the collaboration in that project is between teacher and student. So we'll look at that one as well. But I wanted to start here by taking you back to that core premise in Thrively, and that is that every single learner comes to the environment with strengths, the learning environment with strengths already. So before we even start our project, let's go find out who our students are. So if we look at the class, I can say, all right, well, what is the breakdown of our students' strengths? So for those folks, we know that this project, this STEM project, is going to require a lot of creative thinking. All projects do. Who are our creative thinkers? Now let's make sure we have an Alondra in one group, and an Alejandro in another group, and an Allison and an Anna, and a Bella. So making sure that our groups are heterogeneous in the first place. So creating a space for collaboration really also requires students understanding the asset that they bring to that group, and then also understanding and appreciating the strengths and assets of their peers. So we can certainly kind of force collaboration to happen, right, through our activities, but it would be so much nicer if our students could say, oh, now I see why Alondra or Ava is in this group, because we need a creative thinker. And imagine how that levels a playing field for our students with learning differences too. So they know they're in the group because they're a creative thinker, right? Not because we need an A student, a B student, a C, and a student who struggles. No, everyone comes to the environment with strengths already. So such a great premise, such a great place to start. So we need another person. We need somebody with drive. Well, there's Erin and Amira. So let's make sure we've got someone with drive, because this is going to be a hard project and we're going to really need to see it through. So you can see how we can create those that heterogeneous group using our strengths. The other bit of information that we have available to us in Thrively is what our students are interested in. So in our science and technology, if we say, okay, this project is going to allow you to do several different things. You can build a robot, you could use digital media to share your findings, right? Engage in engineering, whatever you want to do. So if we want to create different pathways into a project, we can see what our students are interested in by looking to see who are those folks that are actually interested in robotics. Now, or if this is a robotics project, maybe we need one person who's interested in robotics in the project, but maybe 5 of these people who are interested in robotics, they come together into one group and start pursuing their passion in robotics right now. And who are the folks that are interested in creative arts, and what kind of outlet can we give them, so that we say, okay, here's an opportunity for you to bring this interest and passion of photography into this particular project. So with Thrively, there are so many ways to know our young people, and then to share. We also ask our young folks, hey, what's an aspiration that you hold for yourself? What do you want to be someday? So, all right, you want to be a doctor? Are there applications for that in this project? What might that look like? So really getting to know our students is going to make that lay the groundwork for a deep respect for all of the assets and talents that we bring to the project itself. So the project itself and the collaboration we are going to get to, but really truly consider using all this data that you have at the beginning to build those collaborative groups for success. So they're built for success because we are intentional about how and why we group. And Thrively can help you guys do that in no time. I mean, otherwise it takes, a semester to really get to understand who our young people are. But in this case, we know who they are. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at a couple of projects. So we're going to go into projects. And those of you who use Thrively, on your teacher dashboard, this is your toolbar. To the left, underneath the Thrively logo, you'll see where your name is, and you'll see everything that you can do in the platform. But we are going to go, right now, we're going to go to projects. And we're going to look at one called This Is My Fight Song. And actually, I'm going to take you first to the student, and we'll come back to the teacher. So, and I'm on a different project. I'm not on Fight Song right now, so hang in there. I'm going to get to Fight Song, and then I'm going to take us back to this Makers project that I think is super interesting. I think you're going to really enjoy that. But for my Fight Song, what we're trying to accomplish here is to let students know that everybody has that fight song. Everybody has challenges, but we all have that fight song. So take a look at how our students collaborate here in this project.
Jane, your screen is very blurry.
Okay. Now, is it blurry even when I'm in the slide presentation?
It seems, yeah, it just seems. Talia, are you seeing it blurry as well, or is it just on my side?
Sometimes it's blurry, sometimes it is not.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, it's not. All right, let me go back to, is it less blurry if I am sharing from this angle? Is it still blurry?
Yeah, it still seems, yeah, it's not as crisp as it usually is, which is kind of interesting.
Well, that is interesting. I'm not seeing anything on my end, and it might be an internet connection issue. I can get on another device.
That's fine. Continue on. I just wanted to let you know that the items that you're actually showing, they are blurry.
Okay, well, thank you so much for letting me know. I'm not sure what's going on, but I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so my apologies to everyone in our digital universe that you're seeing this in a blurry fashion. So right now we are in a project called This Is My Fight Song. And what I want to, now, if I expand, it's probably blurry.
No, actually, no, when you expand it, I can actually see it a little better. Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, I can actually see it a little better. It's kind of, yeah.
That's unusual, but here we go. Thank you, technology, for all the goodness you bring into the world. And right now it's a little frustrating, but I hope you guys out there can see. So thank you for letting me know. All right. So this is, again, this is my fight song. And imagine that, so in our group, we've created teams. And these teams, this one is team 1, it's Anna, Gemma, Nathan, and Russell. And we brought Anna in because Anna has strength. One of her strengths is focus, and one of Gemma's strengths is drive, and Nathan's strength is flexibility, and Russell has the strength of creative thinking. So we want to make sure that we've got a heterogeneous group of kids based upon their strengths. So when they ask, why am I in that group with Nathan again? Well, you're in that group, in the group with Nathan because Nathan brings in creative skill, which is really going to be important for this, this project. So it gives you a strong rationale for why you've grouped students. And when they know the data, they're so much more compliant, aren't they? Like if you just say, oh, just because, or I've drawn a number out of a hat, it gets frustrating. But you can say, I have a purpose, I have a reason for you being in this group. So there we are with those four team members. And all of the activities in the project are here. So this happens to be a project that was created using a design thinking methodology. So where we're discovering, defining, ideate, creating, and engaging. So here, as we define, you'll see that, well, let's go into ideate. So in this one, you'll see every header is actually a resource that we're taking students to so that they can understand how to elaborate, in this case, how to tell a story, right? This one will tell them when, help them with an autobiography, the first time they saw something. So ultimately we're creating an autobiography. And we're talking about a challenge that we had overcome. So so when we're discovering, this is a fight song by the singer, and it's, hey guys, what's your fight song? Talk about a time you faced a difficult challenge. So now that we already know one another in our groups because we've explored one another's strengths in class, we know them through Thrively, and we start to see people for their strengths and not for their differences. We're laying that good foundation for collaboration. So now we can ask challenging questions. So equity and collaborate, and increasing equity through collaboration means really setting that stage where people feel safe to be able to feel vulnerable. So Gemma, Nathan, the teacher Fred, and Anna are all talking about their fight song. So here's Gemma saying, hey, I've felt like this, I feel like a small boat on an ocean sometimes, but I feel okay when I can speak my mind. And here's Nathan sharing, right? I didn't like this song, and here's a challenge that I had when my family had to move out of the house. And Gemma can direct message Nathan, and the teacher, you guys get to see this all from your side. So there's nothing secret, but she can direct message Nathan so that other kids don't see it and start to share what she's impressed with. So how we're increasing equity here is when you imagine students coming into this environment with learning differences, with the students who are emerging bilinguals, they get a safe place with just a small number of their peers, right, to really practice and think and share ideas. So in this case too, we see Fred, here's the teacher. Hey, thanks for being so open. I know it's not easy. So collaboration doesn't just happen on its own. Even in that, in that Edutopia video, we saw the teachers walking around the room, checking in, but now you get to do this right in the app so that kids know if that our teachers engaged too. Our teachers enjoying this conversation as well. He's asking us to think about, he's sharing something personal about himself. He's asking us to think about other possibilities here so that he's modeling, as the educator, he's modeling collaboration, right? And when he does that, and he's reading what people are saying and giving value to the things that Anna says and value to what Nathan and Gemma and Russell are saying, we see equity in action because that teacher is acting equitably as well by really being interested in showing that authentic interest in what his students are doing. So that's going to set the stage for the rest of the learners as well as they collaborate together. Let me show you another project, a STEM project. And this one is I think really interesting for, and Anita, you'll tell me if this gets fuzzy.
Okay.
When I go into the incognito mode. So we're going to look at Ava, and she's done a STEM project in Thrively with her peers. And we go into, you can see the students' dashboard, their homepage. It's just beautiful, super easy to navigate. She just goes straight into projects here. And we're looking at the project called Power Up, the health benefits of gaming. We're going to ask students to engage in a really challenging STEM project. So when we are trying to increase equity in content areas that require a lot of effort, right? A lot of thoughtful effort, we can create more equity by bringing students into a small group, thoughtfully grouping them, right? Heterogeneously grouping them very thoughtfully, and giving them the space to share ideas. Hey, what did you learn about Sarah? What happened? So Sarah was born with ocular albinism. So how does that story make you think differently about video games? Post your thoughts, because video games actually helped improve her vision. So this gives students a very low affect way to start to share things that they might be really reluctant to share in a large group. And it helps them also capture the ideas and see the ideas of one another. So you noticed in the video that I had shared, the Edutopia video, students were writing on their individual worksheets, which is great. But now imagine if you take that and you're sharing it and students are going, oh, that's a great idea. I didn't think about that. So go ahead and utilize the ideas of your peers, right, to grow your understanding of the content in this project. So here is Timothy, and he's talking about what he discovered. There's Michael, and video games are not just for fun, they can be used in everyday life. And there's Sarah. I never thought of video games as being useful, right? My mom usually takes my brother's video games away and makes him go do more homework. Who knew that video games could be used to solve medical condition? And there's Rohit, right? Sharing, talking about game therapy. So they all have a safe place to collaborate. And when you create that safe place, that's what increases equity. And you are sharing all voices matter here. And as the teacher, you're popping in, right, every few days with each group to share your own ideas and to share encouragement for that group to continue. So you can see how easy it is in Thrively to provide content for the collaboration feed. Students just post their ideas here, but they can also, so for equity's sake, they can also record a video. So I'm recording my video right now. And so if they are emerging bilinguals, maybe they're speaking in a video, right? Or they're using the audio to share what they have discovered, right? So I want to just say, okay, I'm really curious about this. I didn't know video games could do that. So it's just an audio recording, very simple, and gives everyone a chance to contribute in a way that's comfortable for them. You can also, students can upload media. We're not going to do it. I'm going to cancel that. You can upload media here really simply. They can also take a photograph. So imagine those students out today, that you saw today out in the yard, watching their teacher and the lesson on with the lesson on heat. So now they're using their iPads or their cell phones to record video of that lesson, and they can post that here, post the video of the lesson, post the photos of the lesson, and start to talk with one another about what they remember. So they're all sharing those ideas. when they're we're in the classroom conducting experiments, imagine they're also video recording the experiments as they're happening. So you've got a really nice video in the collaboration feed. Everyone gets a chance to talk about it. Everybody increases their understanding of what just happened. So before any kind of summative assessment happens, you have all of this opportunity, right, to engage and to learn the content together. All right, I'm going to share one more project with you, and then I will pause to see what questions are coming out. So I want to share with you a collaboration experience between a student and a teacher. So we know we were talking about peer-to-peer collaboration, absolutely. But while I have you here and we're on the subject of projects and collaboration, I do want to share with you a project for our students with learning differences. And that is this IEP transition project. But where this is so important, so our collaboration now is between the special education teacher and the student herself. So again, a great safe place, low affect place, low anxiety space to start to explore who you are and begin to craft your IEP transition plan. So I'm just throwing this one in as a little extra for you guys, a little extra bonus to share one other project, because I know we have a lot of educators in our group who support students with learning differences. So that's the IEP transition project. And you can see the collaboration feed here and how it allows your students with learning differences to get their ideas out in this safe space. There's the teacher responding every time the student shares something here as the student is completing their IEP transition plan. All right. So you've seen 3 projects, and let's go back to the project's resource. So we looked at Power Up the Health Benefits of Gaming, and we looked at My Fight Song. So health benefits, great way to get kids engaged in STEM projects. Fight Song, a really, really incredible project to help students understand one another and begin to build out their own autobiography. And then we looked at Self-Empowered Learner as well. So in the platform, so this is the time in our time together where we actually go into the platform and learn how to use the resource. So you're going to go, we'll take a look in just a minute, but you're going to browse a project and start it. You just go right from your teacher toolbar and select a project and assign it. It's really that simple. So assign your project in teams, select your teams, say how you want to create them. Do you want them to be automatically created, or are you going to create them based on heterogeneous strengths? That's, I've probably said about 1,000 times, such a great idea to try it. And then add students to your project. From there, you saw how Anna, Avery, and Ava all access their projects from their homepage. So very simple for students to access projects, and they'll see this whole drop down of all the projects that have been assigned to them. And all they need to do is select the one they're working on in your class, and it's that simple. You saw that students work in projects by beginning the project and posting their thoughts, their findings in this collaboration feed. And they mark it as done, and then that way you're going to be able to track progress. Now, finally, I want to share with you that once students are engaged in projects, we want them to really show off who they are. So we've increased equity by making sure that everybody understands each learner comes to the learning environment with strengths. They have different resources, different assets. Now we've created a great foundation to start a high quality collaboration. We have an exciting project that engaged students and your students in ideas that matter, that are intriguing, inspiring. And now we want them to go ahead and really allow themselves to shine individually. So we're going to transfer those artifacts from the group project into each individual student's digital portfolio. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. And lots of ways, folks, for you as you look at the projects, lots of ways for you to customize these to your particular learning environment. Very easy to do, wonderful projects in the platform, but you might find that you want to modify something. So all you do is go to the edit button. You can edit any piece of this project. You can also add an activity, and you can collaborate with your peers. So just go into the toolbar and you'll see where you can, right here, where you'll see where you can collaborate. So you can build projects together as a team. You can create one yourself that you're just going to share out with your peers, or you can give people just, you can give them access, right? Access only, so that they can take your project, copy it, and then make it their own. So many ways to collaborate. All right. And then also we're going to be able to check progress along the way, because we want to make sure that our students are making progress, right? We can't go into each one every single time, but we can take a quick look at the progress report, and we can see where our learners are at any point in the project in Thrively. All right. And we are not here yet at our reflection. I want to take you back into the platform for just a second and show you from the student side again what it looks like. So remember, this is Avery. Avery is our student with learning differences. She is going to she's going to add project artifacts to her portfolio. She goes to her artifacts tab and she says, yes, I want to add this one to my portfolio. What was it? And how did it add to the project? So she says that. So now she's been in such a great, safe space for her project that she's ready to go ahead and just shine as an individual. And here, all of her project artifacts then migrate right into her digital portfolio. So, and they become a slideshow for her. All right. Cool. So now we are nearing the end. And for those of us in the room and those of you out there in the digital space watching this later, I just want you to think for just a moment, just stop. Think about everything you learned today, what you heard about the strengths-based approach to learning, about projects and how to increase equity. What did you discover from the Edutopia video? And just kind of think about all of it and how you can utilize Thrively to create the learning conditions that allow young people to really share their voices with one another and find their authentic voices in an environment that promotes an equity of voice. So just for a moment, think about all of that. And then in the chat, just add a one-word reflection. So we're just going to take a moment. It's about 20 seconds. You can think about your reflection. Add that one word. And I'll tell you mine. You don't have to tell us yours. It's okay. You can keep it to yourself or put it in the chat. My one-word reflection is trust. So that's what, I know I only get one word, but I get to facilitate this and host this so I can say that a little bit more, that trust is so important. And we create that every day, first by knowing our students, valuing who they are, and letting them know that we value them, that their voices are important. And so we lay that foundation of trust. When we do that, there's nothing that our students can't and won't do. And we create safe conditions for our learners in those projects, increase equity by making sure that everyone's voice is honored and everyone's talents and assets are respected, and that creates trust. So my one word, which was 75 words, is trust. All right. Thank you so much, CTA members, and thank you for everything that you do. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I want to congratulate you on completing this year. And boy, what a challenging year it's been. But thank you for all of your efforts, for everything that you do for our communities, our families, our young people, and for our state. Thank you. Thank you. Anita, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Now, if you are interested in capturing any of the webinar that was recorded today, please do check out the CTA website. That's cta.org/IFT, and you will be able to find all of the webinar series that we've been recorded here with Drively in them. So please do, if you have any questions on that, you can go back, or you could also contact Jane at jane@thrively.com.
Thank
So
you.
thank you. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you spending the time with us today.